really grateful to be able to introduce y'all to Tom and Suchi Benjamin, who, like a lot of the people that y'all have been able to meet in the past couple of weeks, these folks have actually known me really all my life. I know that a lot of them that you've been talking to, I've known for over probably 20 years or more. But yeah, Tom and Suchi they have been a huge part of my musical life, and just sort of and framed who I grew up to be in a big way. So I'll let you guys take it away.
Okay, well, hey Dustin, great to see you as always. Terrific to see everybody else. My name is Tom Benjamin. This is Suchi. I'm going to say a little bit about myself, and then we'll turn it over to her as well. But Dustin's right. We've been knowing Dustin and his mom and his dad and his siblings ever since day one with them. So it's quite a privilege and an honor to be asked to do this, and we're thrilled to do it with Dustin and all you wonderful people today as well. And thank you for being here. And hopefully we have something to share that will be of interest to you. Before we get into exactly what we're going to present and how we're going to try to present it today, let me just tell you briefly a little bit about myself. Like many of you, I've probably been interested in music all my life. Certainly, it's my earliest memories, being in bands in junior high, being in bands in high school, being in bands in college, having the opportunity eventually to record in Memphis years ago with my high school and college band called the Smoke Ring. And we were produced by a guy named Alan Reynolds, who went on to produce Garth Brooks and all these people, and Dickie Lee, who's a Hall of Fame songwriter. So those were wonderful opportunities. And eventually I made my way to Nashville, as a lot of us do that are interested in trying to write songs, and had a great writer friend here named Jim Casey, who was also in that band, who was here at the time. And eventually I met a really great group of fellow writers that I still am friends with today, a very unique and eclectic group of people and writers. And throughout that time, I had an opportunity to write for several different publishing companies in Nashville, and was blessed enough to have some things recorded and some things on the charts, and things that even in the top 10. And that's a real run. It's a really great ride. It's a lot of fun to see that happen. It's very exciting, but it also becomes, over the arc of a lifetime, what you do, regardless of whether you're on the charts or you're not on the charts. It's innate. It just becomes something that you're all about. It's writing songs, something you have to do. And that's been our experience all our lives. And so to update you today, we've had some detours to other places. We moved to Hawaii and spent some time there, quite a bit of time actually.
17 years.
17 years, there you go. Yeah. And I retired from the University of Hawaii, and then we moved back here to Nashville because we're just music people inside and out. And now, of all things, I'm teaching songwriting at Middle Tennessee State University in their media program there, which is wonderful. A lot of great people I work with there. So that kind of updates you to what I'm doing today, which is teaching, and I'm writing songs all the time, probably just like y'all. I'm just writing songs because that's what I do.
He expresses himself. Well, and I didn't start out as a songwriter. I started out as a singer. I had a band in Dallas, Texas, played the club scene around there. My manager was Jack Calamies, and he was great. He sent me to California, and I ended up working with T-Bone Burnett, and all this stuff was just starting to happen. And then the lead player for my band, who ended up in Texas, he was playing with Steve Earle, then ended up being the lead player in my band, said, you should try out Nashville. There's such a scene, et cetera, and so forth. And so me and the lead player, George, and our keyboard player, we go to Nashville and we do the club scene, and we're really thinking, man, this is incredible, and all these songwriters. And so we ended up this club called Mississippi Whiskers. We were opening for Paul Kraft, who's was a great writer. And so the drummer that was playing with him, his drums are already on stage. So my lead player said, hey, why don't we ask that guy if he wants to sit in with us? I said, oh, that'd be really nice. Yeah. So he sits in, and it's this guy here. And in a month we're married, and 43 years later, we're still married.
Still
because
working
music is our glue as much as love. And we went through, you know, a lot of interesting things. The first thing I did was go in the studio, thanks to Paul Kraft, want me to sing backup on one of his albums. And it was Chet Atkins there was the producer. I went, hey, I actually know who that guy is, you know, and it just went on one after another, spending a lot of time in the studio and playing. And then Tom and I got together, and like we said, Kevin, who Dustin's dad, was in our band for a while, but my closest soul sister is his mom. And because of that, Jennifer, I was there when Dustin was born. In fact, I helped him bring him into the world because he had a home birth. And when he came, you knew you had a special soul right there. And he's so creative, so compassionate. And it's just been a blessing watching him grow and then get to be a part of how you all are creating this together. It's just because the heart of what I'm about is the heart of living and the art of living. So I'm a potter. I was the potter for 25 years. I'm a painter. Now I'm not only a singer, I am a songwriter too. So the power of all this to us is how healing it is. And so we want to really focus on songs and the content, but the healing power of music is as much as anything. So we're going to kind of dive into that, and we have some visuals to go with it. And because it's kind of going to lead through a process, if we have time at the end, if there are any questions, Dustin, maybe we can save it for them, if that's okay. Okay.
I want to do a quick shout out to Paul. Paul Kraft that I was playing drums with at the time when Suchi was opening for him, is a Hall of Fame, Nashville Hall of Fame writer. He wrote songs for, get this, the Eagles. I mean, who writes songs for the Eagles? He wrote songs for Linda Ronstadt and various others, and we dearly miss him. He passed on the night of his induction into the Songwriters Hall of Fame, which was quite moving. But back in those days, Paul was on RCA, and as Suchi said, Chet Atkins was producing him, and then I was fortunate enough to get a deal and was on RCA at the same time. And then eventually later, Suchi and I were signed by a company run by Audie Ashworth and JJ Cale, who had a label called Crazy Mama Records, and we recorded for them. And when we had this band, the Benjamin Waters Band, that ties in with Kevin, because Kevin was our guitar player, lead player, and all around everything. And of course, he's an amazing force as well. So all of this comes around and ties together for us, and it's kind of a really amazing moment right now to share this with Dustin.
So what we want to do is kind of shift out of this screen, put some images and lyrics and stuff as we kind of go through this process. And like I said, if you have any questions or something, maybe we can tag them on to the end.
So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen and share my audio. When I click this on, you should be able to see a blue screen here, hopefully. Let's see here. Let's see. There we go. Can you see my blue screen okay there? Terrific. Yeah. Thank you for those thumbs up.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and minimize the group, and we'll be moving the group around a little bit here. And we'll go ahead and get started.
All right. So we're looking at music as medicine. And music has the power to heal and the power to reveal deeper truths. We all know that. Music has the power to inspire you when you need to be lifted up and move you when you're emotionally stuck, which is really important. Music can help you grieve your losses when you're feeling overwhelmed and exhausted, because music and healing are compassionate partners, essential to the human spirit. And because of that, we think of music as medicine, and we're just going to explore some of the co-resonance of that idea.
So as you'll see here, this is the picture of a vibrating acoustic guitar, and there's obviously nothing quite like it in the world. The guitar or piano, whatever, the human voice with an instrument and the idea to create and share a song is about as important a thing as I can imagine that there possibly could be. And when you actually are involved in that music and sharing that music, it can literally slow your heartbeat. It can relax your muscles. It can help you dream. It's a lullaby to your soul, as as we see here. It's co-creating with that healing intention that can harmonize the body, mind, and spirit. And ultimately, that's what songwriting has become for us throughout the years, throughout these last decades, is we are completely committed to the idea of writing songs and presenting them in a way that we feel is empowering and enlightening and healing, selfishly, probably starting with ourselves and moving out from there, because it's an internalized process that you then share with somebody else.
So we look at music as a universal language. It has the power to unite mind, body, spirit, heal our broken hearts, soothe our minds, mend our bodies, inspire our souls, because music is medicine and music heals the soul, because it is really so much a part of the essence of the soul.
And before we leave this slide, I can't help but, everybody's probably relating to this picture. And I hope you felt that, because that's what music does for me. That little kid with that tambourine, I mean, that is internalizing the absolute joy and the absolute essence of a song. Whatever he's experiencing musically there, he's blocked out the rest of the world. He's in his own little bliss. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thought. And that's what you try to create, to share with people.
So when we look at the harnessed power of music, is one of the oldest and strongest forces in the universe.
Excuse me,
Hold on
one
a second
here.
We're getting so we can see what we're doing here. It allowing the energy of music to restore our body to its natural state, and using music in the most honorable form. And I know you feel that many times after listening to a song. It really touches your heart, because I know I have felt that multiple times. As it flows through your body, it can bring you back to a state of renewed health, harmony, and peace. The more you become aware of the symphony within you, the more you can maintain a harmonious alignment within your whole system, which is very important to remember.
I think that's one of my favorite lines, so to speak, in this whole thing, is the idea that there's a symphony within you. And I really believe that. And when you're in tune with that symphony, and that symphony is working properly, it gives you a sense of peace and health and healing and joy that nothing else can. So having that musical analogy to your body and how it works, I think, is an important concept to realize. Now, I need to switch this real quick, only because we got to get this out of the way over here. So what makes music healing? The really interesting thing, Suchi's done a lot of work with healing work and healing modalities and groups and so on and so forth. And of course, I've been more working with the music end of it, the songwriting end of it, and so forth, as she does as well. But I was looking through this list that she had of 10 healing elements of music and reading through them. They're very, very interesting. And I was struck by the similarities between those concepts and the very key concepts of what I might use, or any of us might use, when we're creating a song. And so we thought we'd kind of push these together and let you kind of see the linkage, the parallels between these healing modalities and the very key concepts of writing a song. And then we'll move into sharing some actual songs with you that we've done and discussing those.
So number one is the intent. At the beginning of every healing process, state your healing intentions in a short prayer, a blessing, or a song, or something that captures the essence of what you're trying to bring forth.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, in a similar vein, that's exactly what a song needs. A song needs intent. It needs a focus. It needs a purpose. And one maybe helpful way to think about this is this idea of one song, one idea, and really honing in on that focus, because sometimes we tend to go so far out and nobody's in our head and they don't really realize all the different things that we are bringing to the table. And you really need to focus it, laser focus it on a concept that enables you to clearly communicate your intention in a song, just as the intention in a healing modality.
Then the second highlight here in this context is drone, which is a long, uninterrupted sound of single pitch, can touch the human organism and allow blockages to be dispersed and tension released. And I think we find that many times, sometimes, whether it's a chant or a melody, but something's running through us, and it is like a drone. It's like a sound. Sometimes it's a sound of a bird even that can do that for us, or a dog.
Some of you that may like, classic country music, just think of a beautiful steel guitar and that swelling, that droning feeling that creates, and it just wells up emotion in you. Or a harmonium, for instance, that's played in traditional or popular East Indian music. It creates a wide range of emotions, and this absolutely sets the table for the song beautifully.
Then number 3 is repetition, which we all are aware of that in the power of music, but it creates a healing modality in that the listener eventually becomes comfortable with the repeated phrase, which acts as affirmation or a mantra.
Yeah. If you think about it, I mean, that's the hook. You've probably heard that 1,000 times. Yeah, the hook of the song or the refrain that's repeated, the thing that draws in the listener and makes the song memorable. And it's the same thing with that. This repetition is absolutely important when you're creating something that's going to stick with the listener.
And then number 4, harmonics. They create an overtone of healing purposes that gives more time and more space to resonate and balance the listener.
And you think about it, you think, well, I'm writing a song, it's all about, music and so forth. You don't think about silence, but silence in a song, space between words, space between musical moments, the ambience of sound and so forth creates this level of pleasure to the listener, which draws them back and wants them to hear it again.
And then number 5, rhythm. Well, what would a song be without rhythm? The function of rhythm in healing music is to duplicate the healthy pulse, emphasis on the heart rate, the breath cycle, and various brain waves that entrain the pulse.
So, as you well know, songs from the beginning of time have been doing this, when people were beating on sticks around a fire, all the way up through sophisticated classical music. Music pulls from that primal beat, that primal feeling that of the rhythm. It's very important, and it can be very simple. It can be slow. It can be fast. The tempo can be all over the map, but there's a natural rhythm to the combination of music and lyrics.
And then number 6 is another variation of harmonics, which is harmony. Intervals can harmonize the emotions and also bring the molecular relationship of diseased organs into harmony, which is interesting way to look at how when we get to the heart of things, the cellular heart of things, when things blend, then they're healing with each other. They're co-resonance. They feel that they're there supporting the same system.
Yeah. As I was looking at that too, it just struck me. Just think about when you hear somebody singing and then that single harmony voice comes in, or that quartet comes in, or whatever it is, and how it just lifts the song. And all of a sudden, whatever they're hoping that you will feel, if they're doing it well, all of a sudden you feel that. You feel the sadness, or you feel the joy, or you feel the mystery, or the comfort is written here. Harmony coming in is very integral to getting your intent across.
Then number 7, melody. Well, what would a song be without a melody? The melody helps harmonize and align healing intentions.
Yeah, and melodies engage the listener. I think it was Burt Bacharach famously said, "No one whistles a lyric." If you get the point, what he's saying, the importance of a melody is everything. I don't know that I would totally disagree with him, or I think I might disagree with him in the sense that the lyrics are equally important in my opinion. But I get he was touting his side of the songwriting equation, which was he wrote the melodies and Hal David wrote the lyrics. But he kind of said with a tongue in cheek a little bit, nobody whistles a melody. So, nobody whistles a lyric, which I understand.
Well, then number 8, instrumental colors. Now, as a visual artist, I really relate to that. Some of you might as well. I mean, I'll hear a song and I'll get a complete visual overlay sometimes to it, just because color has sounds, has vibration, has resonance. But looking at it from this point of view, each instrument vibrates a different part of the human body, mind, and spirit, depending on its construction, its shape, materials, harmonic content, and playing techniques.
So even if you're dealing with a voice and guitar strictly, or a song right on through a master recording, you all know that the instruments that are chosen, they're chosen to work on your head. They're chosen to work on your heart. They're chosen to draw you in. And if you're lucky enough to live in Austin, where Dustin's centering out of today, or Nashville, where we are, or LA, or New York, or Atlanta, or other music areas where there's a lot of musicians who are concentrated, then you have lots of choices to find the person that can play any myriad of different instruments to get exactly that sound that you're looking for and bring about, again, the content and the intent of your song.
So the next to the last, but certainly not the last, is form. The design of a musical composition can stimulate or sedate the listener depending on tempo and mood changes in the music. So that is the form of music.
Yeah, in the healing sense, and then in the sense of just writing a song, which you guys have been doing. Songs have, many forms. They are several forms, but they are the basis of every song that you've ever heard. So there are certain forms that you can learn and you can employ to use as kind of an architecture. Think of it as a songwriting architecture to build your song, to create your song and put the pieces together in a way that translates to the listener's ears. And these ideas, or this architecture, is used to best present the idea and the intent of the song, and use it as a creative tool. There are no rules to writing songs, but there are tools to writing songs, and you can use those tools. In this case, forms, very, very important.
And then the last but not least is silence, which is interesting to think of music as an element of silence. But I think we can all kind of relate to those moments where there's a pause and it's a quick assimilation of all the feelings that have been emoting from this particular song, like a reflective moment. So it holds and sustains vibrational essence between musical notes and interludes, allowing the healing intention to permeate the form and align the mind, body, spirit.
Yeah, and when you think of songs, I think I got this a little twisted in my head for a second there when we were looking at our harmonics, and I was talking a little bit to silence more. The idea that when you're writing a song, you don't think so much about silence, but you do need to think about the entire range of opportunities available to you, from a heavy metal band that's not going for silence particularly, just banging it out, all the way to quiet moments. Or you might even see a heavy metal band know exactly when to stop and take it down, way down, and then pow, bring it right back. So sound and space and dynamics are really important. Once you get your basic song down, it's part of maybe more of the arranging part of it and so forth, but always have that in your head, that message running in the back of your head, that you want to be aware of that dynamic range that you can use to keep people on their toes and keep them listening. So with all of that in mind, the commonalities between healing modalities, which is a ton of the work that Suchi's done with people over the years, and then the work that we've both done in terms of creating music and writing songs, we'd like to go ahead and move into, let's see, we just have to do this occasionally to move this blockage out of the way. So this first song we'd like to take a listen to, it's a song of mine that was on an EP that I did last couple years. It's called My Religion is a Song, which should probably tip you off to the fact that I'm pretty serious about songs, like you all are as well, or you wouldn't be here. And not to get too extreme here, it's just the idea that, we'll play it and show you the lyric and see what you think. But it starts out with the idea that my religion is a song sung because it matters. And I think our songs and all of your songs, all those wonderful songs we were hearing during the interlude there, the break before we came on, that soldiers had written in this program were really touching us, and they have power because they matter. And my religion is a light that shines where darkness gathers. And I think that's another big piece of what a song can do. It can shine light. So let's take a listen here for a second. We need to go out of here, and I got it queued up, and we'll go forward here. My religion is a song sung because it matters. My
religion is a light that shines where darkness gathers. My religion is my home, and my home's by your side. And I know I see God every morning with the sunrise, every morning with the sunrise, every morning with the sunrise. I know I see God every morning with the sunrise. As a child I was taught the truth of God was in some book, with epic tales of wars and angels. Some descended into hell. But truth has many faces. We choose the ones we see. Blooming of a flower is truth enough for me. Truth enough for me. Enough for me. The blooming of a flower is all I need to see. My religion is a melody drifting on an ancient breeze. I hear a little piece of God when we sing that harmony. When we sing that harmony. When we sing that harmony. I hear a little piece of God when we sing that harmony. When we sing that harmony. Sing that harmony. I hear a little piece of God when we sing that harmony. My religion is a song, sung because it matters. My religion is a light shines where darkness gathers. It shines where darkness gathers. It shines where darkness gathers.
Okay, well that song, the intent of that song is pretty clear. At least I hope it's pretty clear. The idea that, you know, we're all brought up and there's a myriad of religious traditions all over the world, and they all have their books and their points of view, and I think all that's wonderful and fine. I was trying to distill it down to just the essence to me of what that was, or what maybe that little piece of God might be, for people who want to just appreciate it at such an elemental level. And for me to just look at the blooming of a flower, and it's all revealed, it's all miraculous. And that's kind of where I was going with that. The structure of the song was built in the 3 verses in a way that some songs are structured with typically separate little vignettes. Each one was a separate piece unto itself. That's one way of putting a song together, if it's not just a linear story from beginning to end. And then you see a lot of repetition in there, the repetition of the melody, the repetition of the form. Each verse is set up the similar way. The rhythm, of course, the harmony, the beautiful harmony Suchi puts on there. When it comes in, it just elevates the song. So that's just a way that we think of songs, because we're very serious about the power of songs and the idea that they are sung because they matter.
So looking at that in the context of, I'm trying to read this here, once again, switching things from one side to the other, the context of the power of music is healing. The ability to be musical comes from within. You don't have to play an instrument. You are already an instrument. Now, I think that is a profound truth that we all need to remember. Because, you know, I can't do this, but you are an instrument, and music flows through you if you allow it to. So music gives everyone's birthright. As a child, you explore the world of sound and rhythm. There is a musical spirit waiting to be discovered in you. And all of you have had a nice interaction with that, or you wouldn't be here. So you know what that's about, but it is powerful, really. Music is not reserved for the stage. It can be an everyday event in everyday places. It is heard in your heartbeat, your breath, your words, and shared in community, ceremony, prayer, and fun.
There's a reason why we play music, as I'm just going to share this with you for a second. Music is about creativity. It's about playfulness. It's about expression. Even if you've been silenced or think you've been silenced or excluded from music making, you still yearn to have that in your life. You can create harmony in your life and connect with your musical spirit and allow your soul to sing. Absolutely. I want to go back to that first thought for a second that Suchi just read. The ability to be musical comes from within. You don't have to play an instrument. You already are the instrument. And as a way of introducing the next song, I just wanted to let you know that where this started. This next song is a song of mine called Freedom. And it started literally, I was playing a djembe. If you know what a djembe is, it's an African drum with a cowhide on it. And I'm just going boom, 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 and then I just started working with that, just like any of us would. And the words start coming and start flowing. And so the idea that I wasn't even playing my guitar, I wasn't playing a keyboard or anything. I was just at the most root element there, like beating the sticks on a fire, coming up with this song. And I wrote the song, and then Suchi loved the song, which always makes me feel great as a songwriter. And she wanted to record it. And we have a great, great friend, Kirby Shellstead, who has we work with in the studio here in Nashville. And they went in the studio and put the song down. And you'll see how it evolved from just a boom, boom, boom. And Suchi created a really terrific video to go with it as well.
So I was going to say, in looking at this, so this was on my album called The Water's Edge. It just look at the power of freedom, how much we want freedom, and then how much we have to transform, change, and look where we are now in this time of change and pandemic, searching for greater freedom. So let's look at this, and then we'll look at some of the content of it.
We build walls when we ought to be building bridges, and we lose touch when we ought to be holding on, and we hold back when we really should be giving, and we hold out when we're holding on to nothing at all. Freedom from fear of certain failure, freedom from the bar we place across every door, freedom from things we just imagine, freedom from all that came before. And we speak out when we could learn so much from silence, and we think twice when we shouldn't think at all, and we give in when we should stand and speak our truth, and we give up, then it's going, gone. of certain failure. Freedom from the bar we place across every door. Freedom from things we just imagine. Freedom from all that came before. Certain failure. Freedom from the bar we place across every door. Freedom from things we just imagine. Freedom from all that came before. Jealousy, pride, anger, and hypocrisy. Freedom from everything you want but really you don't need. A freedom from glamour, illusion, and insurance company. A freedom from atomic bombs and wars and penitentiaries. A freedom from pain and sorrow, poor pitiful me. Freedom from sickness and suffering, ignorance and poverty. Freedom from all bondages, freedom just to be.
Let me get back here. The power of this song is interesting. It's just traveled the globe and touched a lot of people. And when I think of the soldiers here, that songwriters, and what you've been through to try to get to another level of freedom here, some of the key verses right here, I just want to touch upon them because it's the message to freedom. And it starts with, we build walls when we ought to be building bridges. We lose touch when we ought to be holding on. We hold out when we really should be giving, and we hold on when we're holding on to nothing at all.
And we need freedom from fear of our own doubts, our own preconception that we might fail, or freedom from the bar that we place across every door. And I'm talking to me, as much as anybody else. We do it to ourselves, and freedom from things that we just imagine, all the stuff that hasn't ever happened. It's just all in our mind, and we may spend a lot of time wasting time on things that don't even happen. And freedom from all that came before. We all have a past. We all have a previous life. And if we let that control and rule and govern the way we function, then it has control of us rather than being aware of what it was and moving forward.
And then we speak out when we could learn so much in silence. We think twice when we shouldn't think at all. We give in when we should stand and speak our truth. We give up, then it's going, gone. And so then repeated freedom, freedom, freedom that, you know, soldiers fight for. We all try to find ways to bring freedom more fully into our life. So on the end of it, I offered these words. Tom calls them a soliloquy. But it was just my affirmation, in a way, stating freedom from fear and failure, hunger and greed, freedom from jealousy, pride, anger, and hypocrisy, freedom from everything you want, but really you don't need, freedom from glamour, illusion, and insurance companies, freedom from atomic bombs and wars and penitentiaries, freedom from pain and sorrow and poor pitiful me, freedom from sickness and suffering, ignorance and poverty, freedom from all bondages, freedom just to be. So as this song came through, it was on my first album and touched me in the process of us bringing it out. It found its connection with a lot of other people, because in my opinion, and certainly in respect for US soldiers, this fight for freedom is not only global, it's also very personal.
Absolutely.
So thinking about what we're trying to free ourselves from, and the element of fear encapsulates a lot of that, I would say. So fear is the foundation of all our limited beliefs. When we destroy a limited belief, the fear is also destroyed along with it. And then things open up. We are then free to learn new steps in the dance of life and partner with our creative self more joyfully.
And what you come down to then at a point is to have this freedom that we all want to have, our personal freedom, which is what Suchi's talking about, and we're internalizing this a lot more than a broader sense, is at that point, you really probably have to make the decision to let something go. And as she said the other day, something about, you know, you let things go in your life, and sometimes things in your life let you go, but it doesn't matter how that happens. It's important that we recognize that you need to let things go to have that abundant freedom in your life. And this next song is a song called appropriately, Let Something Go. And one of the lines in there is, if you can't speak the truth, you got to let something go. So you got to face it and deal with it. And again, I'm talking to myself. This is where I start writing the song, and then it goes from there out. Just like when you start writing your song, it goes from there out. It's your truth, and it's what you need to say at that time. So letting something go then is this song is presented in a way typically you might see in Nashville with singer-songwriters, for instance. This is just a voice and guitar, what they call a voice and guitar demo. So you go and you just put the song down in its most basic form. Some songwriters in Nashville have great luck with just a basic thing like this and just presenting it to other people, a commercial songwriting situation that they might be interested in recording. Someone like a Bob McDill, if you're familiar with him, he famously just did voice and guitar demos, and he got all kinds of great cuts like Amanda and all kinds of great songs. Others do a full-blown demo with singers and all the instrumentations, a variety of ways of doing. But what you're about to hear is just a basic voice and guitar demo of a song that speaks to this need to let something go. So we'll cue this up and take a listen to this.
Can't hold the line, can't hold the line. If you can't hold the line, you gotta let something go. If you can't hold the line, if you can't hold the line, can't hold the line, you gotta let something go. And the sun comes up in the morning, a man gets out of his bed. He walks over to the window and he simply hangs his head. The beauty of all creation lies just beyond the glass, and all he sees are his frustrations that he cannot get past. If you can't hold the line, if you can't hold the line, if you can't hold the line, you gotta let something go. If you can't hold the line, if you can't hold the line, if you can't hold the line, you gotta let something go. can't speak the truth, if you can't speak the truth, if you can't speak the truth, you gotta let something go. If you can't speak the truth, if you can't speak the truth, if you can't speak the truth, you gotta let something go. And you sit down to write a letter, but the words, they just don't flow. Need a hammer and a chisel just to get your feelings through. And really that's the difference when you put words on a page, and you're way beyond just getting along, and you have to act your age. If you can't speak the truth, if you can't speak the truth, if you can't speak the truth, you gotta let something go. If you can't speak the truth, if you can't speak the truth, if you can't speak the truth, you gotta let something go. Can't stand the rain, if you can't stand the rain, if you can't stand the rain, you gotta let something go. Can't stand the rain, if you can't stand the rain, if you can't stand the rain, you gotta let something go. And there's a girl on the TV weather every evening at 5. She got a smile and a Doppler radar, and she could make a barometer rise. When they cut to a commercial, she don't know who she is. She can give you a pretty good 5-day, but she keeps her secrets hid. Can't stand the rain, if you can't stand the rain, if you can't stand the rain, you gotta let something go. If you can't stand the rain, if you can't stand the rain, if you can't stand the rain, you gotta let something go. Line. If you can't hold the line, if you can't hold the line, you gotta let something go. If you can't hold the line, can't hold the line, can't hold the line, you gotta let something go.
And again, the intent of that song is pretty obvious, that if something's bigger than you and you can't deal with it, you're having difficulty with it, it may just be that what you need to do is cut it loose and let it go and deal with the reality of that. The song again was set up in a situation where you had 3 verses and kind of 3 different vignettes. You see a lot of repetition in that song in particular, a lot of the refrain being repeated over and over, trying to drive home your one song, one idea, that one point. And ultimately, letting go is when you let go of wanting, you open the door to having, perhaps. So it comes down to asking yourself the question, just like I was, am I ready, or are you ready to let go of whatever it is keeping you from enjoying or embodying your truth? And again, this is a process through the getting your freedom, letting go of the things that allow you to have your freedom, and moving you forward to the next song we like to share.
Yeah, I'm going to step into these things that come out of this quest for freedom, let's say. The beat, the steady beat in your life, the core of what keeps you going. So questions would be, where do you build walls when you ought to be building bridges? Maybe, and why about that? And where do you lose touch when you ought to be holding on? I asked that question, and Lord knows with the pandemic, a lot of those questions are coming up for reconsideration, let's say. Where do you hold out when you really should be giving? And where do you hold on when you're holding on to nothing at all? So thinking about that brought a song called When the Wall Came Down. And it really is about, Tom's going to pull up a video that I created about, when the walls come down, then you have an opportunity to restructure your life, or you not only have an opportunity, you're at a huge pivotal point in your life. So I created this video at this time in my life and found words to take it to another place, and then we'll discuss it.
When
the wall came down, when the wall came down, when the wall came down, when the wall came down. A wall came down in my existence I didn't know was there. It was massively inclusive. It was all I knew and everywhere. It was comfortably uncomfortable, like wearing outgrown shoes, a little painful to walk in, but more painful to lose. When the wall came down, the crack that brought it down must have been there all along. I felt its fearful trembles, but thought it natural. When it finally crashed and crumbled, the roar was devastating. Reverberations penetrating, revelations invigorating. Oh, when the wall came down, when the wall came down, when the wall came down, it was such a primal sound. When the wall came down, like a giant wave, it rolled over all in its path. It fell so hard, so deep, none survived its impact. And every single prisoner was released without bail. Incarcerated for so long, they thought this dream was real. When the wall came down. Now what to do and how to live in this waking state? No longer just pretending. Insanity is sane, and wealth is all we need to measure human values when compassion, trust, and freedom guard redemption's gate. When the wall came down, when the wall came down, when the wall came down, it was such a primal sound. When the wall came down, when the wall came down. Without this wall, my knowing never knew. My life forever changed. The seal was broken, the truth revealed what the envelope contained. And all my plans, my purpose, my identity was shattered. Where on earth do we begin to rebuild this world of matter? Where on earth do we begin to rebuild this world of matter? When the wall came down, when the wall came down, when the wall came down, it was such a primal sound. When the wall came down, when the wall came down. Opportunity abounds now for conscious communication, sensitive observations, loving co-creations. Knowing separation can breed hatred and greed, a limited existence that excludes eternity. I reclaim my divine birthright to be free. I reclaim my ability to know, to love, to be. The truth that lives inside, hungry to feed, to act with integrity, to live in harmony. When the wall came down, when the wall came down, oh, look what I found. When the wall came down, when the wall came down, when the wall came down, look what I found. When the wall came down, when the wall came down, when the wall came down, look what I found. When the wall came down. Get the girl. When the wall came down, when the wall came down, look what I found. When the wall came down. When the wall.
There it goes again.
Little did I know when I wrote that song and created that video, it's probably been about a decade ago, that a bigger wall would even come down with this pandemic. And then looking at where we are with that and the lyrics to that song, I'd like to think that as the wall comes down, there is an expansion on the other side. So just to read some of the lyrics that I wrote from that, a wall came down in my existence I didn't know was there. I would be surprised if you all hadn't experienced that as well. It was massively inclusive. It was all I knew and everywhere. It was comfortably uncomfortable, like wearing outgrown shoes, a little painful to walk in, but more painful to lose. When the wall came down, it was such a primal sound. When the wall came down. Without this wall, my knowing never knew, my life forever changed. The seal was broken, the truth revealed what the envelope contained. And all my plans, my purpose, my identity was shattered. Where on earth do we begin to rebuild this world of matter? And I think now I have asked myself that question in the last year. Where on earth do we begin to rebuild this world of matter? And at the same time, maybe there's some element of truth or enlightenment that's touched you in healing, that's opened up a door in this massive restructuring.
Yeah, before we move on from this slide, I just got to point out down there in the bottom right corner, it says, the beginning is near. And of course, as a songwriter, you're always looking for things that you can flip or look at it from a different angle. And of course, the saying is the end is near. And by flipping it, all of a sudden you have the affirmation of a whole nother way of looking at something that's very, very well known to everybody, but then it becomes a kind of an internal hook. The beginning is near. I love that concept of the beginning is near.
So in reclaiming, let's say, what the beginning is, this is a painting of mine that I created when we were living in Hawaii. And what I love about the idea of the water, and when you go under the water, this is called undercurrents. All the things that are happening underneath, below our physical, visual ability, but certainly not below our ability to feel. So with that transformation that's going through, we make an affirmation, a statement, a reclamation. I reclaim my divine birthright to be free. I reclaim my ability to know, to love, to be, the truth that lives inside, hungry to feed, to act with integrity, to live in harmony. And then to me, you know, no matter what you've been through, as you get to the heart of things, there is an opportunity to heal and to move on. And then when the wall came down, I can say, look what I found. And I hope right now, with everything that this globe is going through, for those that did not have to exit this planet, but those that stay, that they'll get a chance to say, look what I found. And certainly as a songwriter, you can express it in song when you get to that.
So as you move through this concept of, you know, songs matter, and then the idea of freedom and trying to find that personal freedom that requires some work on our own to even identify where we don't even know we're not free, and moving beyond that, and then letting certain things go and letting walls come down around you, then you probably get to one of the last components anyway, which is the idea of forgiveness.
Because the power of forgiveness leads the way to self-love and self-acceptance.
And to forgive, this says it all. To forgive is to set a prisoner free and discover that that prisoner was you, which I think is an amazing moment or amazing concept to think about for a moment. And developing an attitude of gratitude and letting go of the past, of past hurts, depends on the power of forgiveness. Forgiveness is one of the keys, major keys to happiness, and the kindest thing that you can ever do for yourself. Not for somebody else, for yourself. Your adversary may not deserve to be forgiven, and I totally get that, for all the suffering inflicted in your life or in my life, whatever, but you or me deserve to be free of the burden of carrying that around, and free to co-create a new life, a new wholeness. So with that thought in mind, the power of forgiveness, I had written a song called Forgive Myself, which fits the fits the situation well here. And again, I'm pretty darn lucky, if you haven't figured that out already, being married to Suchi, and she's such an amazing singer, and she loved this song and wanted, to record it. And so she did. We both recorded. I recorded on an album, and then later she recorded on one of her albums, and it has this idea built into it. So let's listen to this, and then we'll come back to it in a second.
I wanna lay down in the shade of the truth. I wanna find the peace that only that can do. Lord, I need to be forgiven for the times I slipped and fell. But most of all, I need to forgive myself. You know what's done is done, and you're never gonna change. Ain't never gonna change. No matter what you do or where you go, the past remains the same. Lord, I need to be forgiven, and I know I need your help. Oh, yes. But most of all, I need to forgive myself. I need to forgive myself. As a river flows, so life goes, till the heartland meets the sea. Somewhere along the way, we're bound to learn to pray. If we don't learn nothing else, say a prayer for me. Say a prayer for me. Say a prayer for me. I wanna lay down in the shade of the truth. I wanna find the peace that only that can do. Lord, I need to be forgiven for the times I slipped and fell. But most of all, I need to forgive myself. 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 Oh, to forgive myself. I need to forgive myself. I need to forgive myself.
So looking at forgiveness and feeling the power of forgiveness, the qualities are it washes you clean from the inside out. Forgiveness is about giving something up, but it's about letting go of perhaps revenge or bitterness or judgment or pain or sorrow, or the list goes on forever. Tuning into the grace of surrender, acceptance, and unconditional love.
And forgiveness unlocks you from the past, heals you in the present, gives you the freedom to move to your future. Think of past, present, future. They're always with us in every moment that we're here, but unless we can deal with those things, we can't move forward in the kind of positive way that we want to. So this forgiveness, this idea in the song of just laying down with the truth and dealing with it in whatever personal way that is for you or for me, for Suchi, whatever, is really important to move forward in life. And that then allows you to perhaps return to that childlike quality that we all had when we came in, which was, dance like nobody's watching, just be able to express yourself, unlock that creativity within inside yourself.
If you look at the word heart, it contains the word art, and it also contains the word ear. So creativity is listening with your inner ear to your heart. And when we do that, oh my gosh, it's amazing what it tells us and what it lets us feel and how it opens up things for us.
And when you get to that point, it's like going back to that innocence that we all had at one time. And hopefully there's still that spark inside of each of us, that just that sheer innocence that we came in with when we weren't colored by all the things that have affected us through our lives and all the different things that have influenced us and so forth. We just had pure energy, pure joy, ability to, cry when we wanted to cry, laugh when we wanted to laugh, say what we wanted to say, throw food, whatever it was. We just did it because we had that innocence. And this next song we want to share with you kind of goes back to that concept of that kind of innocence. It's a song that I wrote called Sparrow. And I think this is kind of an interesting point. I want you to realize this song had an audience of one. It's great to write songs and maybe 1 million people hear them and get all this recognition and so forth. But sometimes the song you're writing is for an audience of one. It might be you. It might be somebody else. But if you connect with that person with that song, then it's done its job. And this particular song I wrote for my mom just because she had a lot of tough things to deal with in her life, and she did it with a lot of class and a lot of character, and she always had a core about her that was just pure, and it was embodied to me because she loved birds. She loved birds, little songbirds, and the idea of a sparrow just really touched me and seemed to embody her. And I wanted to say something to her, and she's gone now, but I wanted to say something to her that was heartfelt and related that sense of innocence to her. And one of her favorite things was that, the classic Mahalia Jackson song, His Eyes on the Sparrow, and I Know He's Watching Me. And so it kind of boils down to that. So let's take a listen to that for a second. And Suchi created an incredible video for this, which is what we're going to get to see now.
But you got to click on the link.
Oh, I'm sorry. She keeps me straightened out all the time. Yeah, this video is pretty special.
I'm a sparrow in this life. I don't sing too well, but I try. I don't soar too high, I don't fly too far. I'm a quiet lamb, not a shooting star. Sparrow, sparrow, and I'm a sparrow, and I'm glad to be. I can make a home in in any tree. Resourceful could have been my name. I can hunker down through any hurricane. I'm a sparrow. Sparrow. I like corny dogs, the county fairs, and the cracker jacks. The kids spill their popcorn bags at the old ballpark under the bleacher seats when the lights go dark. I'm a sparrow, not much to see. My looks are plain, you won't notice me. In the city park, by the quick lunch stand, in the winter trees, on a broken branch. Sparrow. Sparrow. I'm a sparrow in this life. I don't sing too well, but I try. I don't soar too high, I don't fly too far. I'm a quiet light, not a shooting star. Sparrow. Sparrow. Sparrow.
So that song really speaks to that innocent quality and that voice that we all have inside of us, whether I sing too well or not. It's still your voice. I always say Bob Dylan gave us all permission to sing, and thank goodness he did. It's a real gift. So go ahead, Suchi. Yeah.
So in reflecting with these thoughts on the heart of innocence and how it is so interconnected to the soul of simplicity, I'll just reflect this with you. When the soul of simplicity speaks from the heart of innocence, I am compelled to listen, to learn, and to respond. Because the wisdom of age has taught me that in retrospection, we see ourselves. In introspection, we know ourselves. And in acceptance, we become ourselves. So those three things make for a wholeness of being that we all hope and pray and aspire to what I call co-creative living. Being retrospective, to see ourselves, being introspective, to know ourselves, and being ability to accept ourselves.
Well said.
So what we'd like to kind of wrap things up here as we kind of move through this, what we call medicine is healing, is a song I wrote, this title cut of my last album called Step Into the Light. And if it touches you and you want to sing along with it, please do.
There is a lighthouse shining for you, a beacon of light, a sparkling jewel. There is a lighthouse calling to you, the dark of the night, the bright of the truth. There is a lighthouse leading you home. Do not despair, you're not alone. archers and holy ones welcome those who come to step into the light. We have traveled far, guided by our hearts to step into the light. Oh, we've lost our way, we have fallen prey to the dark side of life. Now we've come again, side by side as friends, to step into the light. Step into the light. Step into the light. Step right up and step in the love. Step into the light. We are our brother's keepers. We are sister seekers. We are children of the light. We've been tossed and we've been torn, and we are on the road back home to step into the light. Step into the light. Step into the light. Step right up and step the love. Step into the light. Responsibility for who you wanna be. Step into the light. Everything you say and do, well, it's really up to you to step into the light. We have come to live in peace, plant our seeds, grow our dreams, to build a better life. Surrender to the truth inside. There is no greater God to step into the light. Step into the light. Step into the light. Step right up and step the love. Step into the light. Shoes outside the door, you won't need them anymore to step into the light, into the light, into the light, into the light.
So with that in mind, we're going to say, let your light shine. And remember to surrender to the truth inside. There is no greater guide. to step into the light. So closing with the idea of music is medicine.
That was awesome, by the way. Awesome, awesome. I love that song.
Thank you so much. So we're closing with Music is Medicine. It's a poem I wrote. I don't know, it may be a rap song if I ever, if I could go fast enough with it, I could rap it. And a painting of mine called Cosmic Sound Wave. So I'll say some of it, Tom will say some. Music is medicine. It weaves together pieces of our life. It calms us down when we're uptight. It soothes our soul and heals our mind. Music is our lifeline. It keeps us up late at night. It sings to us and holds us tight. And when we listen, it reveals our truth. It stirs our soul with rhythm and blues. Music is our muse. It pushes us to the brink sometimes, then brings us back with a simple rhyme. It hums, it chants, it raps, it sings. It resonates the body with every breath it brings. It cries, it moans, it howls, it shouts. It's the eternal flame that never goes out. Music is what we do. It's the fixer, the mixer, the sonic elixir. It's dramatic, ecstatic, undeniably magic. It's harmonic, symphonic, hypnotic, melodic. It's the vibrating sound of every single phonic.
It's rhythm, it's poetry, it's emotion in motion. It's the primal love potion that holds true devotion. It's a recitation of the sum of creation. It's the mountains, the valleys, the heavens, the oceans. Music is our glue. It's the atoms dancing inside the sun, the primal sound fields ringing as one. It's the alpha and omega, it's the energy maker. It's the perpetual giver and the beneficent taker. It's the master conductor of our lives. It's the whale songs that sing the ocean's goodnight. It's the lullabies that gently rock us to sleep. It's the simple sound of a hummingbird's wings. Music reveals our truths. It's the unity of one flowing through song. It's the sound waves that bind each and every one. It's that symphony we started talking about at the beginning. It's the symphony of the spheres since creation has begun. It's the quantum force behind the spirit in form.
It's the wind blowing through the trees. It's the waves breaking on the beach. It's you and me feeling at peace, universally one, eternally free. Music is our medicine. So with that, we'd like to say it's been a gift getting to share our music, our medicine. Let your light shine. You are a lighthouse.
And remember this one last thing. Lighthouses don't go around all over an island looking for boats to save.
They just stand there shining. So let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
We all need to shine as best we can.
Absolutely. It's been great. If Dustin's around, we'll say goodbye.
If you had any questions, we're happy to stay a second before they shut us off.
Let's see here.
But it's been wonderful.
Go back on the screen. Can we do that?
Yeah, it's been wonderful. There we go. It's been wonderful having y'all listening. Thank you.
Yeah.
Gosh, Al, that was just fabulous. What a blessing it's been having you here to be able to deliver your message. And thank you for taking such care with being able to present it as well. We've been taking these folks on a pretty major journey over the last week or so, and to be able to kind of wrap things up with what you guys were able to give us, it just feels really perfect.
Oh, that's great.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Well, peace to you all, and we're so happy for your creative spirit and look forward to hearing more of the songs that flow through you. Thank you, Dustin. You know how much we love you, buddy.
Oh, yeah,
Are you?
Yeah, we've had in the chat room.
Willing to
go
stay
ahead,
for a moment and instructions?
Pardon me?
I just saying, are you willing to stay and answer? Are you willing to stay and answer any questions? Hi, I'm Phoebe.
Hi,
It
Phoebe.
would be so nice. It would be
Yeah.
so lovely if you stayed with us. I'm sure there's so
that's
many
fine.
people that would want to share some things with you if you're willing.
We'd be
You don't
happy to.
Yeah, we just didn't want to go over the time needed
we-
here. So
Need to take your time, but that was just the magazines. Just we're in this kind of space, and if I didn't want to step on toes, but just I want to keep you here if you're down to stay.
Well, you're good.
We're happy to do that.
Like Dustin said, we have been on like a journey, and on the first day we opened with the hero's journey, bringing in
Yeah.
Joseph Campbell's story
Sure.
of transformation, and
Oh,
how our
wow.
songs can really be that transformative journey in space, and like to really fully go around the circle. You know what I mean? Like not just present one part of that story, but fully embody the entire transformative journey. And that's really where the full healing can be, when you acknowledge all of it. And at the end of the hero's journey is the space of forgiveness. Like it's the biggest part to step through in order to really come home again and begin anew before the next journey begins. And I feel like Dustin so eloquently placed you here at the forgiveness element. Here we are on day, you know, and you in your light shining and understanding that the deeper parts behind the healing part potential of the healing qualities, and all of what you brought into this presentation from the very beginning. Then you brought in a hero's journey through this presentation, but also all the qualities of it that's really in such a beautiful way that kind of ties in some scientific beauty, and as well as the actual feeling of the transformation. And I just thought people might want to express any parts of the transformation they might have felt from your presentation and from what you shared, and how people might resonate as music as a healing part of their lives or something like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
Thanks, Phoebe.
Yeah.
I saw Grover raise a hand. Yeah, we're not hearing you at all.
I was trying to track down a noise. I turned off my
Yourself.
Hi, I'm Grover Duffield. I live 100 mile east of Tulsa.
All right.
Anyway, that first blues song I heard, I really liked so well. Was that done in open C tuning? Do you remember? It was like, anyway.
Step into the light, that last song of Suchi's?
No.
No.
It was earlier, like the second song in the presentation.
Oh, Let Something Go? Or
I think it was Freedom. I think it was Freedom.
Oh,
Yeah.
Freedom.
Freedom, I think, was just in the key of G, wasn't it? Just,
I think I was singing in A minor, maybe.
we have different keys.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, Chuck Cannon talked about open C the other
Oh,
day.
yeah,
I've got
yeah.
a couple
Oh, yeah.
guitars strung up that way. Then it was like, wow, this is freaking easy. And
Well, you know, if you go to YouTube and put my name in that song, the video's there. You can listen to it and see what key it is in for if you want to play along with it.
And any of those open tunings that, open D, open C, what they just give you that flow that you just can't beat. Yeah, but that particular song I don't believe was in an open tuning, but
No,
you're right on.
I don't think so. Yeah.
anyway, a year ago, I joined Soldiers, Songs and Voices. Because at the time, a year ago, I was sitting in a wheelchair in the other room waiting to die.
Oh my gosh.
I had spent 4 months in the hospital, had been in a coma. Let me tell you about the mental trip you take when you're in a coma. Anyway, forgiveness came easy. I still don't remember everything. I call my first wife. I don't talk to my second or third wives, but my fourth wife knows me, my history for all those. So anyway, I have to trust other people for what they tell me, except for my music. And hell, I'm a better player now. I'm fighting an infection in my throat, and I'm not allowed to project my voice. So I have to turn my mic way up. But I am a walking, and I was a musician for years, and then I had surgeries and I got out of it. And then I got sick and had my coma. And the music, I was never, I did cover music for 40 years. up in the Aspen area.
Wow.
I had a job whenever I wanted. I had steady work, but I never was a songwriter. And
Well,
then,
we've heard some of your songs by tuning in, and they're quite good. We really, really like them. Yeah.
thank you, because you are speaking to the choir in my case, and you are speaking the truth.
Sure. Well, thanks for being here today, Grover. It's
Yeah.
a pleasure to meet you.
Absolutely.
Dan, did you have something? I just saw you turn your camera on. Anybody else got anything they want to ask?
Yeah, Vicente, I'd like to ask something.
Yes, please.
Thanks so much for being here today. I really, Suchi, sorry for interjecting earlier. I just couldn't withhold my emotions. That was an incredible song. It brought me to tears. And the first and the last songs, I mean, awesome. Both of them were just very touching.
Thank
I have
you.
very strong spiritual beliefs, and so it touched me to my core. I just wanted to ask real quick, what were the three components of the Heart of Innocence? Introspection, we see ourselves.
Retrospection.
Retrospection, and then
Yeah.
introspection, we know ourselves. And then what's the last one?
Acceptance.
Acceptance.
Acceptance, we find ourselves.
We find ourselves. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. So
Yeah.
retrospection, introspection, acceptance. Thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate it.
you.
Thank you for being here and your kind words. We really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much, both of you.
And I felt Trish singing along there. I looked at you and I go, oh yeah, I love it. I love to sing along with other people. Yeah, thanks.
I thought you were great.
Thank you.
I had in a way, it's kind of depressing. I think, hell, if they're not superstars, what chance has somebody like me got? You know, I mean, as good as that is, that was great, man. You know.
Well, you know, it's interesting that you say that, and I thank you for your kindness. But it also has to do with how many people want to, you know, be superstars and put yourself out there. And I mean, for me, you know, like I said, I'm dedicated to the art of living, and I find that it takes many creative paths from me. So, you know, at one point I did have a choice. I could have been on the road and been out there and all that, but there were other things that I also wanted to express that couldn't just come if I was out away from my family and etc. So I chose to be an artist, a multi-factor artist. And but I hear what you're saying, because people that have maybe talents and that are dedicated, that's where they're going to be. Of course, that's been really hard time, as Dustin knows, for them during the pandemic, because everybody got shut down. Those that made their living, you know, out on the road performing and things. But, you know, writing the song is much expressing a part of yourself that needs to be give voice to as anything.
I understand,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, y'all are, I tell you what, y'all are great. So
keep it
good.
going. Thank you, sweetie, but you keep it going, please.
Yeah, we appreciate that very much. As Dustin knows, in our case, we're in the Nashville area, and oh my gosh, there's so much talent here. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
So many great musicians and writers and singers and artists and just great people. And you think of the very few at the very top that you know that we'd all could, you know, parrot as well. They're very few, but it doesn't, I guess the biggest point I'd like to make is don't ever let that stop you. That the idea, just write the songs and express yourself. And that in itself is worthy. It isn't, you know, did I have a #1 record? That's great, but life goes on. And many of us here are a little older. We know that now. We know what it means to live your life around things that are important to you. And songwriting's extremely important to us, obviously is to you as well. So that's the payback. That's the joy.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, you know, I'll tell you what, it's like I said, it's amazing to me that y'all could produce a sound that you did. And I mean, I just thought, hell, I couldn't. I mean, I play music full time, and I guarantee I'm not even close to your league, and it's you just think, my goodness.
Well,
And
it's supposed to inspire you, not retire you. So come on.
well,
Get
hell, I'm
inspired.
old anyway. So.
You don't
Keep going.
Keep
Keep writing it. Just remember, there's only one you. You got that covered.
That's it.
Nobody else can do you.
That's it.
But if I got time for just a little story, I mean, I'll try to rush it up. I've been to Nashville several times, and one time I went to ASCAP,
Yeah.
seminar at ASCAP,
Yeah.
and
that's
the
us.
guy explained everything to us, and then he said, if anybody's got any tapes, I'll listen to them. So there's two ladies there, and the first one, she played her tape, and he said, don't quit your day job. And just cold-blooded, and then the next one, he told her, he said, well, that's a little better, but he said, that's not what we're looking for. Well, I'm trying to crawl under the table by that time because mine's homemade, and he said, anybody else? And I'm trying to get out. And he said, you had one, didn't you? I thought, Lord Jesus, So anyway, I gave it to him, and he listened to it. And I swear to God, this is what he said. He said, that's exactly what we're looking for. He said, if I had my people here, he said, we'd just go down the basement right now and cut this. Wow. And hell, I was going crazy, and he gave me a card. He said, call me back in 2 weeks. I called him 500 times, and I still hadn't got on.
Oh my gosh.
So I don't know what happened, and I still got the song, but I don't know, whether he was lying or what the deal was,
That is really interesting.
That's when you knock on the next door and the next door and the next door till you find that person.
Well, I was about 30 years younger. So anyway.
Sure, I hear you.
Did we lose you? I know you said you were raising your hand. We might have lost him. But Trish, did you have something? And then we can go to Larry after that.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot. So I don't even have the inspiration to go out on the road. I don't have the inspiration to get out of bed a lot of times. I'm still in bed right now.
Sweet dreams.
I don't want to go do that much work for music,
Yeah.
But but I have to say, now it's out. It's going to go out public. I'm inspired to do a song based on drums. So I'm really excited about that.
Great.
And that your voice is so sweet. I mean, not sweet. It's smooth. It's like.
Oh, it is. That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's like.
Well, thank you.
Whatever that is. Yes, and you too.
Oh yeah. No, I'm more aware than you are of how awesome her voice is. Yes.
No, I mean both. It was really beautiful singing, and it was hard not to sing with you. So
well, I can see you singing, and I love that.
You guys were moving really together.
Yeah,
that was working.
I can feel it.
We have that same rhythm. We got it going.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. It was a very inspirational.
Oh, that's great
presentation today. So thank you so
much.
Thank
you.
Well, Dustin, you guys are at a wrap up one-on-one thing. That's your next step, right?
Yeah, this weekend we've got a whole slew of other musicians that are going to come in and just and kind of just be song coaches and help folks out, just doing one-on-one sessions the rest of the weekend.
Well, thank you again for asking us to be a part of it. We are so amazed and just love what you all are doing, and we can't even begin to say how important it is to keep it going, because it's for every person in this world that can express their inner truth and bring it into a creative platform. I feel like that's a gift of healing to the world, and I really feel that deeply. So, I admire each one of you for standing in there, and certainly what Dustin has devoted his time to helping that, and Phoebe as well. So much appreciation, you guys.
Did Larry have something he wanted to say? I don't want to cut anybody off if he did, but if not, that's fine. If we're good, we're good.
That's okay.
Hey, Larry.
How you doing? Hey, thanks, guys. I'm a relatively novice at this. I've done music pretty much my whole life, with about 30 years out for life and family.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Coming back into it about 3 or 4 years ago, and I've been retired for many years, so I'm enjoying it a lot, and I really enjoyed these workshops and the songwriters who have come in, and thank Kevin for this. But I'll tell you, as much as I learned this last weekend, the big thing I learned was today.
Oh,
wow.
With you guys, and it is this. My objective, and I haven't written very many songs, a few, but they're simple songs that I accompany myself and maybe toss on another track there and call it quits. And I am motivated. I don't like songs that are overproduced, and you hear a lot of those over the radio. I mean, you can only put so much behind some words. But I thought you guys had the right mix on that.
Thank you.
And I really want, how do you do that? Where do you stop? How do you say, okay, this is it, no more? No, we don't need drums or whatever. Do you produce those yourself? Do you have
Yeah.
We do with a friend of ours we mentioned earlier, Kirby Shelsted. So the three of us are very involved in all of that. And it's just kind of an intuitive thing, Larry. It just kind of, you just feel what's right. And sometimes you add it and take it off, probably more so than anything else. You get too much and back off some. But I'm like you, a voice and guitar, the power of a voice and guitar is nuts, and a
well-written song.
Well,
Let's add that.
One piece you did was just really that
Let something go.
voice and guitar demo.
Yeah.
That worked really well.
Yeah. And so there's a whole gambit. It's just making that decision on your own based on your song and how you feel about it. And but there's beauty in all of that. Absolutely. And thank you for being that tuned into it. And I get where you're coming from, and keep going. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try. Another question, I just we're talking about a guitar and voice right now. How often are you willing to change how the guitar sounds? I mean, you can go from Travis picking to some type of an intricate strum, or then you can whack from pure major to minor.
How do you make those decisions? Well, for me, Suchi can speak for herself, but it's usually just sitting down and noodling with the guitar, and it starts speaking to you. Words to me will jump out and have a melody already, or have a rhythm to them. Words, certain words sing and certain words don't. And you kind of start feeling that, and they kind of roll off your tongue. And if you can grab it, usually some kind of combination of the words in that whatever the picking is, strumming, finger picking, the Travis style, whatever it might be, it'll start to feel right for that song. But there are times when you do it and then you change it to another style and you find it actually works better in another style. So I always say that when I'm working with students, you have this, you got it down, you got this lyric, you got this melody. Think about changing. Nobody's taking what you just did away. Try other things. Even change your pronouns sometimes in your lyric. And all of a sudden you go from first person to third, or third to second, or whatever, and it changes the whole thing. And it's an easy switch. And you realize, well, I needed to stay open to changing things, but I always have what I started with. Nobody's taking that away unless you erase it, and then you got a problem.
Not erasing it.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, that's good. Good place to start and stop. Well, I could say in my case, I'm a little bit more techie than Tom is, because I build websites and videos and that sort of thing. But when I go in sometimes to GarageBand or whatever you use, I'll look at and listen to some beats, because I tend to write words sometimes, and then I'll get something that comes through me and I'll feel the beat. So I'll find a drum beat that I really like, and then I'll put it on there and I'll start playing along with it. And I find that for me works really well, because it gives me that groove, and allows me to play along with it.
Yeah.
But not everybody would feel that way, but that's just my approach. Plus, I'm married to a drummer. Hey,
There you go.
So
We got some drums sitting right here, just off camera.
We got drums in the house. Yeah,
Gotta have drums.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Larry. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But what
Good to meet
instruments do you guys play?
Well, we're not that multi-talented. Guitar and drums, basically, and some piano.
Yeah, and me just basically, I play a little piano, but guitar, excuse me. Yeah. So that's it.
We can pretend to play a lot of things.
Yeah.
Hey, you
Well,
two. Can I leave you with a prayer?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes,
Please do. That would be
Okay.
great.
While you were speaking during your presentation, this is on my wall, and I found it when I was doing like a big clean of my house, where you just go through every paper and you're like, where did this come from? I have no idea where it came from. And it's by Alan C. Inman. And it, following this, we're going to be doing breakout rooms this afternoon. So we'll just start being where we can actually start listening to each other play our songs and getting feedback.
Oh, great. Yeah.
So now, so this is kind of like closing this part of the journey. And also to say, at the end of this weekend, our final closing ceremony is that everyone will be playing their songs on a Zoom. We'll just go around and have like a closing ceremony. But so we're going to be preparing for that for the next couple of days. But I just wanted to sing. This is a poem called I Am Music.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
I like that.
I am music, most ancient of the arts. I am more than ancient. I am eternal. Even before life commenced upon this earth, I was here in the winds and the waves. When the first trees and flowers and grasses appeared, I was among them. And when woman and man came, I at once became the most delicate, most subtle, and most powerful medium for the expression of man's emotions. When men were just little better than beasts, I influenced them for their good. In all ages, I have inspired men and women with hope, kindled their love, given a voice to their joys, cheered them on to valorous deeds, and soothed them in times of despair. I have played a great part in the drama of life, whose end purpose is the complete perfection of man's nature. Through my influence, human nature has uplifted, sweetened, and refined. With the aid of men, I have become a fine art. I'm a myriad of voices and instruments. I'm in the hearts of all and on all their tongues. In all lands, among all people, the ignorant and unlettered know me, not less than the rich and the learned. For I speak to all men in a language that all understand. Even the deaf hear me, but if they listen to just the voices only of their souls. I am the food of love. I have taught men gentleness and peace. I have led them onward to heroic deeds. I comfort the lonely and I harmonize the discord of crowds. I am a necessary luxury to all men. I am music. Alan C. Inman.
Wow, that is really powerful.
Thank you, Phoebe.
Thank
Beautiful.
you, Phoebe.
Absolutely.
Really nice way for us to wrap up our time together, you
Yes.
all. Thank you so much. Every one of you. Thank you, Justin.
It's been a pleasure.
Oh gosh, yeah, y'all were such a gift to us. Thank you. And I guess, as Phoebe said, we're just going to leave this open and give y'all an opportunity if you want to, first get up and stretch your legs and go feed the dog and drink some water. And but there's, you're welcome to be able to stick around, be able to share some songs with each other. And then at 7:00, we've got this Music Got Me Here documentary that
nice.
Really excited to share with y'all. It's just an amazing story of the work of a music therapist working with a young man with a traumatic brain injury. Wow. So I'm excited to be able to share that with y'all. And once again, thank you. What a great day it's been. Thanks, Tom and Suchi. I love y'all.
Love you too. Love you guys. We'll see y'all later.
Take care.
Take care.